Here we go. So, welcome, Sussane, to Member Spotlight.
Hi,
Uh,
Rokas.
so, we can begin from your introduction. Whatever you want to tell us about yourself, go ahead, do it.
Okay. So, yes, I'm 56 years old. I'm living here in southern Germany, in the border of the Lake of Constance, and I'm working as a CEO of a consultancy company with 160 um, uh, employees. And so my day is always meeting, sitting on my desk and online meeting. Since Corona, it's only online meeting all day with only some minutes between the dates. And yes, I have two sons, but already grown up. And yes, I like to move. I like sports. I did different things like swimming and jogging and cycling a lot. Last year, I cycled from northern Germany to southern Germany, 1,000 kilometers. And so I always need some movement. So yes, that's about me. I don't. Yeah.
That's nice. So, we have a little bit of your background. And how did you find out about rope flow? How it came into your life?
Yeah. I saw one day, it was in March, end of March. I saw a video from Octomoves on Instagram. Just a very short video where different people, older and younger people, doing something with a rope. And I immediately stopped and thought, oh, what's this? What are they doing? This seems to be interesting. And I thought, oh, cool. Then I Googled. However, I always Google if I find something interesting. And I immediately found your website and found more videos and found the option to buy a rope. And so immediately I did this. I thought, okay, I just have to try. It looks so cool. I just have to try this because in the beginning of the year, I told myself, I need a new hobby. I need something new to do. I do yoga, and it's so boring. Sorry, not boring, but it's. I have to breathe a lot, but I want to move a lot, so I have to do something else. And so then I bought this rope. My first one was the Phoenix, and I think 2 or 3 days later, I decided just to buy another rope. it's the Flowzilla, and then I started just only with YouTube videos. I searched for tutorials and I found your tutorials and whatever from the Philippines or from wherever, and I started in my living room making my rope as short as possible. The first 2 weeks or so, I started in my living room and learned the propeller and a little bit the directions. And then I remember the day when I first went outside. I went on the rooftop here in the company's building. There were no one near of me, so no one could look at me. I thought only from far away. And then I realized that, whoa, that's great. Now I have space and I can do just other movements. And then I learned more and more things. I train or I practice at least 1 hour a day, at least. Some days 2 hours, because sometimes I go in the morning. For example, in the weekend I go in the morning, and then in the evening I think, wow, I have to go again. So there are not only a few days where I didn't practice since 1st of April. That was my first practice.
Wow,
And
that's amazing. You build a really cool new habit that actually really excites you. I can tell you that what you're talking to.
exactly. And
Wild to believe.
all of my friends said, what are you doing? And say, oh, this is rope flow. This is so cool. And they said, okay, not for me. But I think you have to try. You have to try. Yeah, it's difficult. He say, yes, not depends on what you want to do. You can do it easy. You can do parts that are easy, and then you can learn new tricks. And from time to time, it's difficult, and it's quite often that the rope hits me, and I always have so spots. That's normal. And then I started practicing more and more in public. And one day when I had the first flow, I can say the first matador and propeller and so on, and dragon roll. And then I started practicing in public where people see what I do. And first I was a little bit shy, but then I thought, I want to practice on a very great spot. And so I come here to the lake, and if someone feels disturbed, they can tell me. But it was exactly the other way around. The people stopped and looked and stopped by, and more and more often the people stopped and asked me, hey, what are you doing there? This looks so cool. And I was a beginner, but they already told me, boy, this is cool. I never saw this. What's the name of this? Where can I get a rope like this? And sometimes the people told me, oh, thank you that you trained, or that you practiced here, so I had the chance to get to know this. So that was so funny. And
has it inspired you to do like even more? Like, does it make you feel like more confident when people approach you like that?
Yeah, I can see that if I see people stop and look at me, then it gives me more motivation to show what it is like. It's funny because even if I make mistakes or I drop the rope, then it's just I laugh, and the people laugh too. But they see, okay, obviously it takes some time to learn. It's not so easy as it looks, but everyone is positive, and I had never a negative comment or so. And the only problem is I always practice with ear pods. And sometimes when people talk to me, I don't realize. And then, and then I see, and then I have to plug out and say, sorry, what did you say? Oh, this looks so cool. So, yeah. And what's absolutely important for me is the music. Since I started rope flow, I started do my Spotify lists, and I collected music that in different moods, some smooth music or calm music, and some fast music. And sometimes when I sit in my living room and I hear the music and think, okay, now I have to grab my rope and go outside, because it's like dancing. And so I'm again motivated to practice. And there's not one day where I thought, oh, I'm not motivated. I'm motivated every time because it's so cool. So,
Oh, that's really nice to hear. So as I understand from what you're saying, your flow practice is more like a dance. So you learn those basic moves, and now you go and you kind of play with the music. You roll the rope and trying to play with the music, feel the rhythm, and just enjoying and having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I learn new tricks. Sometimes it takes weeks to learn something new, but that's additionally, sometimes I take time to learn new tricks, and in every training session. But then when I see, okay, I failed about 20, 30 times, I think, okay, yes, I stop. Now I stop the new trick and do some minutes with a good flow with the music. And then again, I think, okay, now I try. So I always have a mixture between flow and music and dancing and rhythm, and this work on new tricks. So
So that's great. I hear that you're having your training process, how you're learning new things. You're not afraid of failure. So, what did you recommend, and what did you advise for like people that are starting rope flow, or just we've been doing, but we may be stuck on something, or so what you be advising for them?
Um, what helped me a lot is to learn from the other members or the videos is that however cool something looks in a video, it takes a lot of practice to do this. And if you start to do this, you probably will fail. And that's normal. But everyone says, try and try and try, and suddenly it will work. And you don't know why it suddenly works, but suddenly there's like you unlocked something new. And you say, wow, did you see now? I did it. And that doesn't matter how long I fail. At the moment I try this mic release.
Mm-hmm.
This is so hard, but nevertheless, I know I will do it one day because it only matters how often I try, and this gives me a good feeling because I know it only depends on how often I try, and then suddenly it will work. So that's good. And hearing from the other members that yes, it is sometimes the more difficult a trick is, the more experience you need, or the more time you have to try. But one time it will work, and this gives me a good insight even into life. So how life is not talent, is practice. You have to practice, and suddenly it works. That's so great.
Yeah, that sounds very motivational. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's completely true. There's nothing to add or take it away. It's all about the practice. For some people it's easier, for some it's harder. We are all starting at different points, and
Yeah,
we have different backgrounds, so it affects what's happening
yeah,
around this time. So it's always good to remember that, like, you need to practice. If you get frustrated, just do something that you know and get
yeah,
back, and just keep on mixing on that, and so on. uh, and it's always really good reminder, since you have like two grown-up kids. I don't know, maybe you remember how much they tried to stand up before we started walking.
yeah,
And I watched some documentary about like a kids development, and one of the things that we mentioned over there, kids averagely try to stand up for 10,000 times. So that means we
mhm,
do 10,000 failed repetitions
yeah.
until they finally stand up. So just like failing for a month, it's nothing
It's no
compared, like,
problem. Yeah,
compared
exactly.
to what you have done in your life already just to stand up. We usually forget how much actually we already achieved at this point, and now we are manipulating the rope and we doing like crazy stuff with it. That also helps for our body to develop even further, have better coordination, that
Yeah,
joint health, and so on. I don't know what benefits you're seeing with this practice for yourself, but like from my perspective, I see like a lot of things here are compiled into one, and I really happy to hear from you that you have that open approach and you're not afraid to fail. And that's probably as well the reason that why you're running the huge company and sitting and smiling here and practicing rope flow in the park.
yeah. That's so funny because when I started training on the rooftop when I was a beginner, and sometimes employees looked at me because they did their break there, even they or came up smoking or so, and they did, what is she doing? And I told them, probably it doesn't look very cool what I do, but I'm learning something new here, and I can recommend you to dare or to try something new. Even if you fail in the beginning, you will see one day it will be better and better, and it gives so much joy. And what's more is you always can go back to the things you already learned and only enjoy one session with good music and only the things you already can, and it feels good. And then from time to time you probably want to want to learn something new, but you never should compare with people who do this for 2 years. If you are a beginner, that else is that's not good. So
That's the wrong
yeah.
comparison. Well, if you, it's always the best competition is with yourself. Like
Yeah,
we always actually competing with ourselves. And I coming like from the surfing background as well. So where you kind of, even in the competition, you compete with against ours, but it's not actually against ours. You're competing with yourself. You're trying to put the best performance you can, and you get rated on that. And
yeah,
if you feel like you put it best, it's okay. You either perform really good and you feel good even if you're losing at that point in that heat, but you still feel like a winner.
yeah,
And yeah, it's really really amazing thing. And it always kind of fascinates me that it's all in the mind, and it all
yeah,
in the mindset, and it's all in our thought processing. Like some people can see it as a failure, or oh, I can do that, I constantly smack it myself, or like I a comments and like, oh,
mhm,
I will never be able to do that. It's like it's so complicated. And so, but we never tried it. We don't even try to fail, so
yeah,
we are even unconscious for what we don't know what we're going to do or not. So
yeah,
it's really weird.
yeah, yeah. You're right, and no fear for fail is the best way to learn new things and to develop. In my life, I learned the biggest lesson after or by a big fail. The
Mm,
times I performed perfectly didn't bring me forward, but the times where a rope hit me like something like whatever, I had to think, oh, I have to do something else, and the rope always hits me, so I know, okay, I have to do something else. But this is in my life was always a time when I look back and I say, oh, that was the time I learned a lot, and the rope teaches me every day. It teaches me to concentrate. If I'm not there with my mind, I'm thinking about the company or whatever, then the rope hits me. But if I'm calm and if I concentrate on that, on the music or in the flow, then that everything is okay. And so rope flow is like a meditation for me. I can grab my rope. I have it here on my in my office. I can grab my rope between two meetings and for 15 minutes go on the top and just let go my thoughts about whatever I just had a conflict or whatever, and then I come back and say, okay, now next meeting. And that's so it brings me down, and it helps me to um, get to calm my mind and so on. That's great.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Mm.
I do similar things in my office as well. I feel like I need more energy, or like
Yeah,
been sitting too much, or need to clear my mind. Just pick up the rope.
yeah,
Sometimes even 2 minutes.
yeah,
I'd stand in between the tables and I do
yeah,
it. Okay, now I'm more energized. I can do what I need to do. And it's, yeah, actually feels you to, I don't know, somebody call it grounding or something like that. I know
yeah.
it just sets you back where you are in your body,
Hmm.
in the space, and that you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So, Suzanne, to wrap it up, maybe you wanna wish the members, or you wanna say something to all of us from yourself.
Yes. So I additionally want to tell that are more side effects. Then, though it's not only to calm down, it's but you build up muscles. I lost 26 pounds since I started rope flow because I have a lot of more movement, and I experience that I have another sensation in the body, and it feels I feel that I'm walking in another way And
Do you have a swag now?
yeah, sure. So, but it's I sleep a lot of better because sometimes I practice in the evening, even from 9 to 10 in the evening. Doesn't matter, and then I go to bed and I sleep. That's great. That's great too. And I can tell everyone that it's worth trying it, and even at the beginning when it's not so easy and you seem to find it hard, as soon as you are able, and it's only a few days, are able to go to experience a kind of flow, to move with the music. For me, it's the music, and to just enjoy and stand outside and smile and do the rope flow. That's the greatest feeling. And for that, for me, it's the greatest sports I ever experienced. So that's what I can say.
Well, that's amazing, Suzanne, and really appreciate for sharing your experience with all of us. And thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And yeah, may the flow be with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and with you too.
Thank you.
Okay.